All right, Dustin, big one ahead. Dominick Reyes. That's for a lot of people that know the sport. That's a big name in front of you. What do you think about this matchup?
I love the matchup, man, and I'm very well aware Dominick Reyes is a big name. He's one of the best guys in the division. He's on a little bit of a skid right now, but this is not an easy job. It's a tough job to do, and he's fought a murderer's row of individuals. And, I know I have my hands full. I know Dom's going to be dangerous, and I'm really looking forward to the opportunity of taking out a so-called legend and building my legacy.
Have you heard at all kind of what he's been going through? Because we were speaking to him yesterday, and he said he was dealing with some blood clots in his leg. That's why the Alberg fight obviously wasn't going through.
Oh, really?
But he was told by doctors because of the blood clots that he was living day to day with these blood clots. Like the doctors straight up told him, like, listen, this is a day to day diagnosis, and if you wake up the next day, it's good, and if you don't wake up the next day, then it's not a good thing.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I did not know that. I thought he hurt his shoulder. But again, I'm not too involved with the media. I don't follow up on a lot of stuff. I kind of stay in my own lane. But yeah, man, hopefully he's doing well, and I don't wish that on anybody. And I know he's had a tough road, so to throw that in the mix as well is never a good thing. But I'm sure he's very well prepared for this fight and has put that behind him, and going to be the best version of himself on Saturday night.
Yeah, he's also said he kind of feels like he's gotten back to the Dominick Reyes who was fighting John Jones, who was slick in there, who was rolling with the punches. So do you expect him to come forward like he did in the Yuri fight, or are you expecting more of like a counter puncher, kind of picking his shots type Dom Reyes?
I'm prepared for both. I'm very well prepared. It's my job to go in there and execute. He could come forward. He could stay back. Either way, I think that he's going to go in there he looking for the kill. I think that, his back's against the wall. I think he knows that, and he's got to go out there and make something happen. And, I'm expecting the best Dominick Reyes, the best version there is. I have no doubt that he's going to be on that night. And again, man, I'm just looking forward to the opportunity to go in there and face a guy like him. He's definitely one of the best guys in the division, and I think that says a lot about me, about where I'm at. And to have this opportunity is, I'm very grateful for it.
I kind of wanted to ask about a clip that I saw you respond to. It was somebody was talking on Joe Rogan, and she was talking about mental health, and she was saying, sitting around and thinking about your problems is a bad habit, and literally getting up and doing anything is better than sitting around and looking at your problems. Like going to the store and picking up groceries is better. And you responded, I think you put the 100 emoji or something like that. But I want to ask you about that.
Yeah, man, you got to stay busy. You got to stay active. You can't just sit there and dwell on things. It's the worst thing you can do. A lot of times we are our own worst enemy. And life is tough, man. It's not easy. You can't just sit back and just think about your problems, because you'll just create more problems. You'll just keep thinking about negative, and negativity affects you negatively 100% of the time. You got to get up, you got to get active, do a little bit of exercise, read a good book, surround yourself with positive people. I'm very well aware that mental health is an issue. Thankfully, it's not something that I battle with, and it's not that I don't. It's just I don't focus on it. I try not to focus on that, man. I try to be positive. I try to focus on the better things in life, the finer things in life, the things that make me happy. Again, man, negativity affects you negatively 100% of the time. So you cannot have a negative mindset. And you always have to have a positive attitude and put a smile on your face, man, and keep moving. Another thing, people. Mental health problems, they just sit in a dark room and don't do much, and that's not good, man. You got to get out and see some sunlight and talk to people and be active.
I want to switch gears a little bit here, but Were you annoyed a little bit at how Alonzo Menifield fought his last fight against Carlos Ulberg? Like, were you not like, man, why couldn't you have just done that to me and I could have countered you right off the bat?
I really was, man. I mean, I feel like he fought a pretty conservative fight with me, kind of stayed back, and then he just went crazy at the beginning. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, why? How did he not do that with me? It just makes you so much more vulnerable and so much easier to attack. I don't know what he was thinking, man. I'm sure he doesn't know either. I'm sure he deeply regrets that and could have fought a much better fight, but kudos to Ulberg for capitalizing on the opportunity. And MMA, man, that's a great example of, I lose the Menifield fight. I'm like, man, I was right there. Like, I win that fight, and I've got so many opportunities, so many options. You lose that fight, it feels like the end of the world. But then you go and you have an opportunity to fight a guy like Dominick Reyes, and I go get a big win, man. It's like you're now back on top of the mountain. You're thrown right back into the mix. And, MMA is a funny game, man. You lose, and it's the end, and you win, and so many doors are open.
Yeah, I mean, 36 years young, right? What keeps you motivated to do this at the end of the day? When you wake up in the morning, what makes you want to say, hey, I still want to do this. I still want to reach the top level.
Yeah, man, just it's that burning desire that's always been inside of me, the burning desire for greatness, to be the best version of myself. And it is tough. The older I get, I'm not that 22-year-old kid anymore. I remember I used to go to the gym. I couldn't wait to wrestle, grapple, punch you in the face. And now there's days I wake up, it's like, man, I don't want to do any of that. Like, I want to train, but I just don't want to fight you. It's like, get off me, get away from me. But, and just having fun with it, man. Being around the guys. I've always been a locker room guy. I've always played sports. I just enjoy the teammates. I enjoy my friends, my teammates, my coaches, being in the gym, sweating, being active. And that's what motivates me. And just, it makes me happy. And going to the gym and being active, seeing everybody, that makes me happy, man. That's what keeps me going. And then the opportunity, to be the man in the arena. I love competing. I love that. I love the bright lights. I love when you're actually in there and it's time to go. And I feed off of that, man. So it keeps me coming back.
It's kind of interesting that you say that when you're like to guys at the gym, like, look, man, I don't want to fight you, because I think we heard Tyron Woodley say when he got older in the game, he said, I don't know if I can hurt these guys the way I did earlier in my career. He's like, some of these guys I would rather go out and have a beer with or have dinner with than get in there in the octagon and fight them. But do you still have that attitude? Like, hey, man, I can be nice outside of the octagon, but I'm still ready to go in there and take anybody out.
Oh, 100%, man. And you have to, when the moment comes that I'm not ready to go in there and hurt the guy and take the guy out, that's when I know it's time to give it up. At the end of the day, you can play football, you can play basketball, you can't really play fighting. You have to be all in, or otherwise, you could get really hurt. And, it's one thing to go play a game, but you can't really play fighting, man. You're talking about getting knocked out. You're talking about physically hurting your body, hurting yourself. So once I, in the gym, it's one thing. I go in there and train and not want to get after it on certain days. But when it's time to step into that octagon and it's time to fight, there's never a doubt in my mind that I got to do what I signed up to do. And that hasn't left me yet. And, I'm sure someday it will. And I'm sure that's when I'll know that it's time to, we're not playing this game anymore. But as of right now, man, I still have that burning desire to climb this ladder, to get into the top 10. And, I have some unfinished business with guys at the top of this division. Khalil Roundtree, the champion, a very scary dude. I fought in Glory Kickboxing. I'd love to avenge that in MMA, or at least try to, and that's what keeps me going, is fights like that.
Hey, Dustin. Hey. So going into this fight, if you get a similar victory to, say, your Kennedy fight, right? UFC Denver, UFC just announced that officially. Is that the call-out you want? Is it short turnaround fight in Denver where you do your fight camps now?
Yeah, man, I think that would be cool. At the same time, we already have I have a couple teammates on the card. I'm sure I have a few teammates on the card. I'm sure there'll be a couple more. And I think I'm going to, let them do their thing and kind of stay in my own lane. I do have a call out, with a big victory, and it has nothing to do with fighting. It's the American Century Championship Celebrity Golf Tournament. Golf is a big passion of mine, one of my favorite pastimes, probably my favorite pastime. Single-digit handicap golfer. I would love to get on the mic and call for that spot. It's next month. It's, the best celebrity golfers. I'd love to represent the sport of mixed martial arts. I'd love to represent the UFC. I know Canelo Alvarez is in there. So that's going to be my call out. And, I'm going to let those guys fight in Endeavor. I'm going to let them enjoy their moment and have their time. And I'll get another fight on the books sooner than later with a big win early on.
Perfect. Speaking of golf, get you back at the Barstool Classic sometime soon?
Man, I just played in it. My partner and I just played at Rain Dance National. We shot 6 under at two-man best ball and missed the cut by a stroke. And we thought we had made it, and a late scorecard came in, so they have live scoring during the event. And there were 4 teams that didn't do the live scoring. So we just kind of figured that those teams, they were just there to have fun. They didn't care about the score. So we turned all the scorecards in. We saw we were top 4, so we were, elated. We were so relieved. We're like, no way, because I've done it for 4 years in a row. And we're like, we finally advanced. The top 4 teams advanced. And I made the putt and in the putt challenge, so we were getting ready to do that. And the guy comes up. He's like, hey, you guys were in the top 4, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, one of those teams that came in, they were 8 under, so it knocked us out. And, man, Barstool Classic is one of my favorite events. I look forward to it every year. Those guys are awesome. They also hooked me up with a pass to be able to ensure that I'm, playing in the event. So very grateful for those guys.
Best of luck, brother.
Thank you, man.
Actually, I got one more for you. The Khalil fight. How badly do you want that one back?
Oh, man, I really want that one back. Again, this is the same with Minifield. I tell everybody I don't think the better fighter won that night. Minifield got me. And that's no knock on Minifield. Dangerous guy. Same with Khalil Roundtree, man. It's not that the better fighter didn't win. I feel like I won that fight. I mean, if you look at the DraftKings, I think I was minus 700 going into the final decision. The fight was over, and it's here's minus 700 on me, and they named him. And that's a fight, man, I definitely want back, but I know I looked at Khalil square in the eye right after that fight. I walked right up to him. I was like, hey, man, you're a warrior. And he looked right at me. He's like, man, I just wanted to prove to you that I wasn't a pussy. And I was like, well, what do you mean? He's like, I heard you were saying I was a pussy. I was like, bro, I never said you were a pussy. I was like, I said you're mentally weaker than you are physically. I was like, physically, you're a beast, but mentally, it's something we all have to work on. And just that little encounter we had, I saw it in his eyes. He knew that I won, and I knew that I won. And I was waiting to hear the decision with my name, and it didn't happen. And that one eats me, because now look at Khalil, where he's at. And, of course, he had his little mishap, whatever, with the drug testing. But, I mean, he was in a co-main event for the biggest card of the year, one of the biggest cards. And with a win, which I thought he probably would have got done, puts him in a title fight. And just to know that I was right there, again, no disrespect to him. He's a great fighter. I'm not saying he's a pushover. I just think I won that fight, and I would love to get that back.
And then this actually came out this morning. Jamal Hill kind of put out a post saying that he didn't like the post-fight taunting of Alex Pereira after he finished him at UFC 300. He said, look, man, I was respectful to your guy when I fought him in Brazil and Glover, and I didn't like the way you handled that. I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that as well.
I mean, he was in the moment, man. We all do things right after the fight, and I don't think he did anything too crazy. He just did his little I thought it was actually pretty cool. I didn't think it was over the top. I thought that it was I knew it was a sign of confidence on Pereira. He knew that's what was going to happen, and. Man, more power to Pereira. It's incredible what he's been able to accomplish in such a short amount of time, and he's kind of got that aura about him that now people, you have to fight that aura, not just him, but now you got to fight that aura around him. And I don't think it was too bad. I thought it was actually, it was pretty cool, and it just shined confidence from Pereira. Appreciate you guys.